We can play. Oh, I have a great quote from Plato. I brought my Plato. I have to share this. This is one of my favorite quotes. How does he look at it? Now, Plato's whole game is whatever degree you've experienced beauty, that's what you turn and reflect on, not the object of it, the experience. See? Always reflect on the experience. So much then in honor of memory, on account of which I have now spoken at some length, through yearning for the joys of that other time. But beauty, as I said before, shone in brilliance among those visions, and since we came to earth we found it shining most clearly through the clearest of our senses. For sight is the sharpest of the physical senses, though wisdom is not seen by it, for wisdom would arouse a terrible love if such a clear image of it were granted as would come through sight. And the same is true for the other lovely realities, but beauty alone has this privilege, and therefore it is the most clearly seen and the loveliest. And that's the introduction into Plato and Plotinus. Right. Thank you. Right. So,
you were speaking earlier about people experiencing beauty and experiencing their most inmost being, and I was wondering what relationship that has with energy centers, chakras.
You see, to endure an experience, to participate in an experience, presupposes something that is correlated with it. That is to say, like for every experience, it is said to be a biochemical correlate to it. Right? So that must come from somewhere. That has some source, and therefore there are all kinds of sources or centers for such energy. And therefore, like in Plato, he has a whole exploration of centers. But essentially, the problem with centers is that then you're hooked into exploring, or interested in it, into exploring experiences. But the good itself doesn't need centers, because it's not an experience. An experience has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has its limits, it has its beginning and end, it has its middle. It can have rises and falls, it can be greater and less, even the most profound. Therefore, there must be something corresponding to it in the human psyche, in the human system. But the good itself, one itself, no centers, because it's not an experience.
But you just said that the way to understand the experience of beauty is to reflect on it. So if you're reflecting on that experience that has a beginning and a middle and an end.
That will get you to this experience. See, for Plato, it's essential to know what separates Plato from, so far as I can see, from other systems, is that he thinks it's essential to experience this and to go beyond it.
So by reflecting on the experience, then you can go beyond it?
Well, no, it admits of degrees, and that's important to realize. It's important to experience more profound states. Most people start out with just a certain level of experiences of beauty. to enhance it, to dwell into it as a training of the mind, and that will bring on higher degrees of experience. That's essential in a Platonic universe.
But ultimately, the goal is to stop reflecting on the
Not-
experience, or,
Not stopping.
well, okay.
Transcending.
Yeah. You got to step. You got to say, well, that's certainly nice, but it ain't going to go where I want to go. And this is a terrible statement of someone might say, oh darn it, I just had an experience of the nature of ultimate reality. Darn it.
See, earlier,
The irony of all possible ironies. Oh, gee, I feel sorry for you.
earlier you said that the idea would be to prepare yourself to be receptive and to be in a receptive silence, to allow an anticipation of something good. How is that like the reflecting on an experience of beauty?
It is. That's the way to prepare for the experience of beauty.
Is to reflect on one
Sure.
you've had.
Yes. Whatever it was you engaged in, whatever it was that you encountered that brought about an experience of beauty, is there any sense in which you could become more involved in it, more profoundly, had you done this or that or the other thing?
Exactly.
That admits then of degrees, you see.
So then that is what you were talking about as anticipation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. For the good is a jump. There ain't nothing.
So you have to encounter an idea of the good before encountering the good itself? Is that true?
No.
Is it the other way around?
No.
When you're reflecting...
Wait. In some systems, like in the Bhagavad Gita, the 11th chapter, there's a great experience of the Atman as divine lights, like 10,000 suns, etc. And they consider that as an ultimate experience, you see. Okay, ultimate experience. Nothing beyond it. And for some people who are involved in the system, then they have to go the next step, and they have to therefore get out of this kind of Hinduism to go beyond it.
Does it say that in the Gita?
Does it say this in the Gita?
That,
What's the this?
That this is the ultimate experience, or ultimate goal, or cosmic vision? Like
Well,
we were talking
that's
about
why Arjuna was given the eye of yoga in order to see the nature of reality.
But again, that's an experience.
Yes.
He's beholding.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. But it doesn't talk about going beyond that in the Gita. That's right.
In the Gita?
Yeah.
Well, perhaps you know where.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
That is what you said.
Well, see, the Gita is only 25 chapters of the Mahabharata. And I haven't read the whole Mahabharata. Maybe it's somewhere else, and if you knew it, I'd look it up.
No.
Sure, yeah.
So Plato talks about energy centers? Is that what you're saying?
Is that what I said? Yeah, that's what I said.
Really? What work is that in? Yeah.
Like the energy? Well, that's the whole, this is from the Phaedrus. The whole myth in the Phaedrus deals with all of these things that I've just been talking about. This whole construction. That's all the Phaedrus. And that admits of various degrees. So I would say Phaedrus, if that's what you're looking for.
Okay. I thought I had it understood, but I got confused because I thought that Platonic thought held that you had to encounter an idea of the good before you encountered the good itself. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. What I'm saying is those experiences that have beginning, middles, and ends, ups and downs, and to